Obviously, solar is a really growing industry, and one of the most basic questions that we get from almost everyone is, do I include a battery with the solar installation? Batteries can be very synergistic and a great incorporation with the system, but you have to understand what batteries do and what batteries don't do. So batteries provide a backup power source in the event of an outage. If the grid fails, the system we use has a system controller that identifies that outage and severs connection with the grid and forms a microgrid, being able to draw power in real time from the solar that's being generated if the sun is shining, or from the battery bank that is attached to that solar system as well. And that can continue in perpetuity as the solar can recharge the batteries if it's shining. So theoretically, if there's enough battery storage and there's enough solar power, your loads, whatever you've decided to cover, can continue to be powered in loop day after day if there's an extended outage. It's important to understand that with any battery backup situation, your energy and your power output is going to be limited by whatever battery system you have. Unless the sun recharges the batteries, your batteries will run out at some point, either having not enough power to power your loads or energy over time. So we have to size the systems based on the loads that you'd like to cover and also the time frame that you'd like to cover it. We can either set up a system to power the entire main service panel, all the circuits in your home, or do a critical loads backup where we're only choosing to identify certain circuits in your main service panel or in a sub panel that we want to power during an outage. So it depends. We always need to have a conversation with the customer. What loads do you want to have active, and what loads are you trying to back up, to determine what system size we want to use for the batteries, and the amount of runtime that you can maybe realistically think about for the energy backup for that situation. We usually like to temper people's expectations about what the battery can back up. Lots of people talk to us and say, look, in an outage, it's an emergency situation. I'm not planning on powering my heating or my cooling or my dryer, big 240 volt loads. What I really want is lighting, refrigeration, and wall outlets. I want to keep the internet on, the lights on. I want to be able to keep the refrigerator running. And to do that, we're going to size the battery at a very different scale than we would if somebody needed a whole home backup scenario. What we want to think about is what's going to be enough power to power those loads, and also how much runtime of energy will they be demanding over the course of especially like maybe a 12-hour period of time, which is like an overnight between solar recharge. So it's important for people to understand the net metering policies of their state when they're thinking about battery backup. Where we're headquartered and located in Pennsylvania, net metering policy is 1-to-1. So what that means is that whether you self-consume your own energy or you export your energy, it's being credited to you at the same rate from the utility. So there's not a financial benefit in having the battery self-consume at night the excess generation that you have had during the day. So that's the most important thing to understand. Some states are different and they have lower export rates than they do import rates. And then there's a reason to self-consume that financially, reason to self-consume that energy. The benefit of a battery backup system is having backup power in an outage rather than a financial return on that investment.